Welcome to Slumber Sanctuary. Wherever you are right now, whatever you carried with you today, you can set it down here. You have done enough. You have been enough. So please, get comfortable. Adjust your pillows. Let your shoulders drop. And gently close your eyes. Tonight, we are going on a quiet journey to a place where the world cannot reach you. Let's drift away together. Let's find our way to a quiet place tonight. A place of deep, unwavering calm, far from the noise of the world. Come with me down this winding, narrow path. The ground beneath your feet is made of small, smooth stones and soft, damp earth. With every step, you can hear the gentle crunch and press, a quiet sound just for you. The air here is cool and clean. Carries the faint, clean scent of salt from a sea that has gone to sleep, and the sweet, loamy smell of moss growing on ancient stones. You can feel the soft kiss of this air on your cheeks, a gentle welcome to this secluded world. You are walking along the very edge of a high, rocky cliff, but you feel perfectly safe here. The path is steady, and there is a stillness in the air that holds you, that reassures you. Look up. Above you, the sky is a canvas of the deepest, softest velvet black, and it is filled with a trillion tiny glowing stars. They don't just twinkle, they seem to breathe, pulsing with a slow ancient light, and stretching across this immense dome is the Aurora, a silent, slow-moving river of light. Gentle ribbons of pale green and soft violet drift and sway, as if the sky itself is dreaming. There is no sound from them, only a profound, breathtaking beauty, a silent music for your eyes. Ahead, at the very end of the path, stands the lighthouse. It is old, made of large gray stones that have been worn smooth by centuries of wind and sea spray. It is not tall and imposing, but sturdy, round, and comforting, a quiet guardian at the world's edge. From a small window high up, a single warm orange light spills out. It's a beacon not for ships, but for you, a promise of warmth, of shelter, of peace. As you get closer, you can see the details. The heavy, dark wood of the round top door with its large, black iron handle. The way the wild grasses grow right up to the stone base, swaying ever so slightly in a breeze you can barely feel. You reach the door. Your hand rests on the cool, solid iron of the handle. It feels heavy, secure. You turn it, and the door opens, not with a creak, but with a low, deep groan of old, settled wood. It is the sound of a place that has been waiting. You step inside and gently pull the heavy door closed behind you. The sound it makes as it clicks shut is so final, so satisfying. The cool night air is gone, and so are all the worries you carry with you. They cannot follow you in here. Inside, it is surprisingly warm. The air is still and smells of old wood, beeswax, and the faint, dusty scent of books. The warmth comes from a single lantern resting on a small wooden table. Its flame dances and sways within the glass, casting long, soft shadows that move like gentle waves on the curved stone walls. This light is the color of honey, of amber. It makes the entire circular room feel like a safe, warm cocoon. There's a simple, comfortable-looking armchair in the corner, a small, warm rug on the smooth stone floor, and against the wall, a spiral staircase, its wooden steps worn down in the middle from countless journeys up and down. You walk towards the single window on this lower level. It's a small, square opening with thick, wavy glass. You look out. From here, you can see the ocean. It is a vast expanse of dark, still water, like polished obsidian. There are no waves tonight. The sea is perfectly calm, mirroring the stars on the soft glow of the aurora above. The line where the water meets the sky is almost impossible to see. It is just one continuous, peaceful whole. You're in a tower between the stars of the sky and the stars in the sea, a place of perfect balance, of perfect quiet. This little room is your sanctuary, a haven of stillness. Every part of this place invites you to rest, to let go. The gentle, flickering light, the deep, comforting silence, the feeling of the solid stone walls around you, protecting you. You feel your shoulders begin to relax. The tension in your neck begins to fade. There is nothing to do here, nowhere to be. You are simply here, and that is more than enough. After a time, you do not know how long, a gentle stirring rises from within. It is not a restlessness, but a quiet curiosity. The peace of this lower room has settled deep into your bones, and now it invites you to explore further. Your gaze drifts to the spiral staircase, its dark wood glowing softly in the lantern light. Each step seems to call to you, a silent invitation to ascend, to see what lies above. You rise from your observation at a window, your movements slow and deliberate, careful not to disturb the profound silence that fills the space. The stone floor is cool beneath your feet. You place a hand on the central pillar of the staircase. The wood is smooth, worn into soft curves by the touch of countless hands before yours. It feels solid, ancient, and reliable. You take the first step. The wood gives a soft, low groan, a sound that is not a complaint, but a deep, resonant sigh of memory. It is the only sound in the tower, and it feels like a secret shared between you and the old stone. One step, then another. As you begin to circle upwards, the room below shrinks, the single lantern becoming a warm, golden eye watching you go. The light stretches and shifts, casting your shadow in a slow, spiraling dance upon the curved wall beside you. Your free hand trails along the stone, feeling its cool, slightly uneven texture. You can feel the immense weight and strength of the tower in that simple touch, the deep sense of permanence that has allowed it to stand here between the sea and the sky for so long. The air changes as you climb. It grows cooler, fresher, carrying a faint scent of salt from the ocean and something else, something dry and familiar, like old paper and leather. You reach the top and step onto a new floor. The space here is different. It is just as circular as the room below, but it feels more open, more connected to the vastness outside. The lantern light from downstairs does not reach this high, but the room is not dark. It is bathed in a soft, silvery luminescence that spills in from a single, large, circular window, set into the wall like a perfect, unblinking eye. This window has no glass. It is completely open to the night, a direct and unfiltered portal to the cosmos. Through it, the Aurora Borealis is a breathtaking ribbon of pale green and violet light, pulsing gently across a canvas of infinite stars. The stars here are sharper, brighter, no longer softened by the thick glass of the window below. They feel close enough to touch. Your eyes adjust to the celestial light. The room slowly reveals itself. The curved walls are lined with wooden shelves, reaching from the floor almost to the ceiling. And the shelves are filled with books, hundreds of them. Their spines are a mosaic of faded colors, some bound in dark, cracked leather, others in simple cloth covers. They're not neatly arranged. They are the collection of a mind that cared more for knowledge than for order. They are filled with stories of the sea, maps of the stars, forgotten philosophies, and handwritten journals. They seem to hum with a quiet energy, the accumulated wisdom of ages resting silently in the starlight. In the center of the room, directly beneath the apex of the domed stone ceiling, sits a simple wooden desk. It is worn and scarred with use, its surface polished smooth by the labor of elbows and hands. Upon it sits a small, unlit candle in a brass holder, an inkwell of dark glass, and a single feather quill resting beside a bound journal, its pages still empty. It is not a place of demanding work, but a place of quiet contemplation, an invitation to add your own small story to the great library of the universe that surrounds you. You walk towards the open window, the cool night air caressing your face. It carries the clean, sharp smell of the cold, deep ocean and the faint, dusty scent of the books behind you. You lean on the stone sill, which is wide and smooth. From this height, the world feels transformed. The sea is a perfect, dark mirror, holding the entire star-dusted sky and the shimmering aurora within its depths. There is no horizon. There is only a seamless sphere of light and darkness. And this chair, this room, is the exact center of it all. You are floating in a sea of stars. You feel a sense of profound connection, as if the stillness within you has finally found its perfect echo in the stillness of the cosmos. The thoughts and worries of your world, the noise and the hurry, they have no place here. They are too small, too distant. All that exists is the soft sigh of the breeze, the silent pulsing of the aurora, and the steady, quiet beat of your own heart, finally in rhythm with the universe. This is not just a sanctuary for the body, it is a haven for the soul. You pull away from the stone casement, turning your back to the endless sea of stars. The air inside the tower room is different, warmer, holding the scent of aged paper, polished wood, and the subtle, almost floral fragrance of old ink. The room embraces you, a soft, quiet counterpoint to the infinite majesty outside, where the cosmos offered a feeling of dissolution, of becoming one with everything. The The circular library offers a feeling of gentle containment, of being safely held at the very center of that vastness. Your gaze sweeps over the towering, curved bookshelves that line the entirety of the stone wall. They are built into the tower itself, the dark, fragrant wood following the perfect arc of the room. There is no dust here. Not a single mote dances in the still air. It is as if time itself moves differently within these walls, respecting the silent stories that wait upon the shelves. You begin to walk, your soft footsteps making no sound on the cool stone floor. You run your fingers along the spines of the books as you pass. They are not a uniform collection. Some are tall and slender, bound in deep blue or crimson leather, with delicate gold leaf tooling that glimmers faintly. Others are small and thick, clad in simple, sturdy brown cloth, their titles handwritten in faded ink. Many have no titles at all, their covers worn smooth by the touch of hands, their secrets held within unassuming exteriors. You realize, with a soft spark of understanding, that these are not books in the conventional sense. They are journals, hundreds, perhaps thousands of them, the collected thoughts, dreams, and moments of peace from every soul who has ever found their way to this sanctuary. This is not just a library of stories. It is a library of stillness. An invisible current seems to guide you, a gentle pull towards one particular shelf, one particular space. Your hand stops, hovering before a small, unassuming volume bound in what looks like soft gray deerskin. It is held shut by a simple leather tie. There is no title, no marking of any kind, yet you feel a sense of recognition, a quiet hum of affinity that resonates deep within your chest. Carefully, you lift it from its place. It feels warm to the touch, impossibly so, as if it holds the residual warmth of the last person who held it. The leather is supple and impossibly soft. It smells of old paper, a hint of dry lavender, and something indefinably ancient, like dust from a fallen star. You carry this small treasure back to the desk, the centerpiece of the room. You sit in the simple, sturdy wooden chair, its form perfectly suited to your own. The silence is no longer just an absence of noise. It has become a presence, a comforting weight. You place the journal on the desk next to the empty one that awaits your own hand. For a long moment, you simply look at it, tracing the faint grain of the deerskin cover with your fingertip. You feel no urgency to open it. The peace of this place has seeped into your very bones, slowing your pulse, quieting the frantic inner monologue that so often fills your days. Here, there is only the present moment, unfolding with infinite patience. With a soft pull, you undo the leather tie. The knot unwinds as if it were waiting for you. You open the cover. The pages within are of a fine, cream-colored parchment, thin but strong. They are filled with handwriting, but it is not a single script. Each page, or sometimes just a few lines, is written in a different hand. Some are elegant and looping. Others are sharp and precise. Some are barely more than a scratch, a hasty thought captured before it could fade. These are not grand narratives or epic tales. They are moments. One entry reads, "Tonight, the aurora is the color of verdigris. I finally understood that the ocean does not end. It only changes its name to sky." Another, in a much smaller script, says, I watched a single star fall for what felt like an hour. I made no wish. There was nothing more to ask for. A third is just a few words, written with a shaky but determined hand. My heart is quiet. It is enough. You turn the pages slowly, a silent communion with the souls who came before you. You read of small joys, of profound revelations found in the silence, of burdens laid down and forgotten. Each entry is a single, perfect drop of water in an ocean of shared peace. As you look up from the page, your gaze falls upon the unlit candle in its brass holder, as if answering a question you had not yet formed in your mind. A tiny spark of golden light appears at the tip of the wick. It wavers for a second, then grows into a small, steady, silent flame. It is not startling. It feels utterly natural, as if the room itself has decided it is time for more light. The flame casts a warm, living glow across the desk, making the dark ink in the well gleam and turning the feather of the quill into a soft halo of gold. The room grows warmer, more intimate. The invitation is clear. The stories of others have been short. The empty journal lies open, its pages a pristine, untouched field of possibility. You reach out and your fingers close around the smooth, cool shaft of the feather quill. It is light, yet it feels substantial in your hand, a tool of creation, a bridge between the stillness in your soul and the tangible world. You do not yet know what you will write. Perhaps you will describe the star-dusted sea, or the feel of the ancient wood, or the profound, echoing silence that now fills you completely. It does not matter. The journey was not to find answers, but to find the quiet in which answers could be born. And here, in the gentle, golden light of a single, magical flame, you are ready to begin. The tip of the quill hesitates for a moment, a black pearl of ink held in perfect suspension just above the creamy expanse of the page. It is a moment of pure potential, a breath held between silence and creation. The only sounds are the soft, almost imperceptible hiss of the candle flame and the distant, rhythmic sigh of the sea washing against the stone foundations of the lighthouse. Then, with a yielding that feels less like a decision and more like a surrender, the nib touches down. The paper drinks the ink, and the line, fine and nothing dark as a spider's thread, begins to unspool. I was not searching. I write. The words appear as if summoned from the inkwell itself, thoughts given form without the clumsy intervention of conscious thought. Perhaps I was searching for the absence of searching. I sought a quiet so complete that I could hear the turning of the world, the slow grind of star stuff into dust and back into light. I believe such a thing could be found in distance, in the grand, empty vistas of the ocean or the sky. I was wrong. My hand moves with a life of its own, the quill a natural extension of my fingers, my arm, my very breath. The The scratching of the nib on the textured paper is a gentle percussion, a heartbeat for the stillness. The silence I found was not empty. It was full. It was a vessel. And over time, it had been filled by others who had come to the same place, to the same shore. The stories, left behind like shells on the sand, were not tales of high adventure or grand romance. They were whispers of release. A fisherman wrote of the day he let his father's ghost go, casting the memory out with his nets and pulling in only the silver flash of fish on the cold, clean sea. A woman wrote of a single, perfect pear, eaten in the sun, a moment of such simple, profound joy that it washed away years of bitterness. A cartographer wrote not of lands he had mapped, but of the peace he found in accepting that the most important territories, those of the human heart, would forever remain uncharted. Each story was a weight given to the sea, a burden laid down at the foot of this old stone tower. Reading them, I did not feel their sorrow. I felt their relief. I felt the lightness that follows the letting go. It was as if I were breathing out an ache I had not even realized I was holding. The silence, I now understand, is not an absence of sound. It is a presence. It is the collective peace of all who have found solace here. It is a resonance, a low, gentle hum that vibrates in the wood of the desk, in the stone of the walls, in the very marrow of my bones. The candlelight flickers, casting my own dancing shadow against the wall. It feels like a companion, a silent witness to this confession. I dipped the quill again, the motion smooth and practiced. I came here to listen to the ocean, and I have. It speaks in a language of cycles, of timeless erosion and relentless return. It promises that everything is worn down eventually, every sharp edge smoothed, every mountain turned to sand. It is a comforting promise, but a true revelation was not in listening to the sea, but in learning to listen to the quiet between the waves. In that infinitesimal pause, that gap between the surge and the retreat, lies everything. It is the space for a single, clear thought to rise. It is the space where the spark appeared on the wick. It is the space where I now write. This place does not offer answers. It is not a temple or an oracle. It is something far more valuable. It is a mirror. The starlit water reflects the starlit sky, and the profound stillness of a night reflects the stillness one can find within oneself. The light from the top of the tower does not illuminate the world. It merely confirms its own existence, a steady pulse in the vast velvet darkness, a reminder that even in overwhelming emptiness, a single, constant light is enough. It is a guide not to a destination, but a guide back to oneself. My wrist aches, but it is a pleasant, grounding ache. I look at the words filling the page, the ink still gleaming wetly in the warm light. They're my own, yet they feel as if they belong to this room, to the lighthouse, to the shared silence. They are just one more drop of water added to the ocean. And so, I add my own silence to the collection. I leave behind the burden of seeking. I release the need for a grand purpose or a definitive answer. My story is this. I came. I listened. I found the quiet that was not empty, but full. And in that quiet, I finally heard my own breath, felt the slow and steady beat of my own heart, a simple, reliable rhythm in the grand, silent symphony of the night. It is enough. It is everything. lift the quill. A final, perfect drop of ink falls from the nib, landing like a period at the end of a thought I did not know I had finished. The page is full. The story, for now, is told. The candle flame burns steady and bright, and outside, the sea breathes in and out. I close the beak. The leather cover, worn smooth by the hands of countless others, feels like a familiar palm against my own. The final drop of ink on the last page has dried, a tiny black star in the constellation of words. The silence in the room has shifted. It is no longer a vast, questioning emptiness, but a gentle, affirming presence. It is the silence of a held breath after a beautiful piece of music has ended, a silence that contains the echo of every note. The candle flame, my solitary companion through the night, dances in a draft I cannot feel. His light painting soft, moving shadows on the stone walls. They look less like specters now, and more like quiet, nodding attendees at the conclusion of a long sermon. I do not feel the urge to sleep. The night's work has not left me weary, but strangely vital, as if the act of writing, of pouring the chaos out, has refilled me with a clean, clear energy. Rising from the chair, my joints protest with a soft crackle, the only sound to break the quiet. I leave the journal on the writing desk, open to the final page. It is not my story to take with me. It belongs here with the others. A gift left in return for the shelter I was given. I walk towards the small, curved window, my bare feet cold against the ancient floorboards. The sea is a sheet of dark glass, and the sky is still a profound, bottomless black, punctured by the diamond-sharp light of 1,000 distant suns. The great beam from above continues its silent, sweeping orbit, a slow, unsteady waltz with the horizon. It is no longer a beacon of warning or a cry for attention. It feels like a heartbeat, the lighthouse's own quiet, powerful heart, beating for anyone and no one at all. I feel a pull, a gentle summons. I leave the writing room and begin to climb the last few flights of the spiral staircase, the ones that lead to the lantern room itself. The air grows cooler, tasting more sharply of salt and ozone. The steps are worn into shallow bowls in the center, a testament to the endless, circling journeys of the keepers who came before. My hand trails along the cold, rough stone of the central column, feeling the history embedded within it. Finally, I push open a heavy iron door and step into the glass-walled chamber at the apex of the world. The great lens assembly stands in the center, a magnificent crystalline jewel. It is a work of impossible precision and artistry, a beehive of polished glass, all angled to capture and focus this single, brilliant light at its core. As the mechanism turns with a near-silent, rhythmic hum, facets of the lens catch the light from within and throw miniature rainbows against the iron catwalk. And the light itself, it is not a flame, but a bulb of incredible intensity, a captured piece of the sun. The beam it projects is a solid, tangible thing, a blade of pure white that slices through the darkness. Standing here, inside the source of the light, I feel its warmth on my skin. I watch it sweep across the endless water, illuminating a patch of churning waves for a moment before moving on, leaving it to the darkness once more. It does not try to conquer the night. It simply moves through it, a declaration of presence, a promise of constancy. I stay there for what feels like an eternity, watching the slow turn of the world. And then I see it. A subtle shift on the eastern horizon. The absolute black softens to a deep, bruised purple. A line, faint as a whisper, begins to separate the sea from the sky. The dawn. I watch, mesmerized, as the colors bleed into one another. The purple gives way to a soft indigo, then a pale, luminous violet. The brightest stars begin to fade, dissolving like salt in water. A sliver of impossible orange appears, then a line of molten gold that slowly, inexorably widens. The sea awakens, its surface transforming from flat glass to a textured expanse of deep, shifting blues and greens. The world is being remade before my eyes, painted back into existence with a soft and patient brush. In the gentle, growing light of the new day, the lighthouse beam seems to pale, its job done. The mechanism gives a final, soft click, and the brilliant bulb extinguishes. The sweeping arm of light is gone, and in its place, the sun crests the horizon, flooding the world with a clean, golden radiance. The stillness I found in the dark did not flee from the light. It simply changed its nature. It became the quiet peace of a new morning, the gentle lapping of waves against the shore, the distant cry of a gull. And with the morning comes a simple, undeniable knowing. My time here is done. The lighthouse has offered me its silence, its darkness, and its dawn. It has shown me that the light is not something to be sought, but something to be carried. To stay now would be an act of fear, a refusal to believe that the quiet I have found within myself can survive the noise of the world. The descent is different from the climb. I go down the spiral stairs not as a seeker, but as one who is leaving a beloved home. Each step is deliberate, a quiet thank you. In the writing room, the morning light pours through the window, illuminating the dust motes dancing in the air. I gather my small satchel, my few belongings feeling insignificant. I run my hand one last time over the cover of the journal on the desk. Then I turn and walk to the door. I pull the heavy oak shut behind me. The latch falls into place with a solid, definitive sound. It is not the sound of an ending, but of a beginning. It is the sound of a page being turned. Outside, the air is crisp and clean, and the path down the cliff face is gilded by the morning sun. I do not look back. I know the lighthouse will be there, silent and steadfast against the blue sky. I do not need to see it anymore. I can feel it. A steady, constant light, a quiet, reliable rhythm. A guide not to a destination, but a guide back to myself. And I am on my way. path is forgiven, not the jagged rock of the cliff, but packed earth, softened by moss at its edges. It winds away from the sea, and with each step, the tank of salt in the air begins to fade, replaced by something else. The scent of damp soil, of crushed pine needles, of the world's quiet green breath. For the first hour, the only sound is the crunch of my boots and the rustle of a world waking up around me. A finch trills a sharp, clear note from a high branch. A beetle bumbles its way through the undergrowth. These are not the grand, elemental sounds of the ocean and the wind, but a small, intricate notes of life itself, a different kind of music. I'd wondered if the world's symphony would feel like a cacophony after the Lighthouse's singular song, but it does not. It feels like a harmony I had forgotten how to hear. I am not listening for anything in particular. I am simply listening. The sun climbs higher, and the path widens, joining a rutted track meant for cars. Here, the evidence of others is more pronounced. A discarded ribbon, snagged on a thorny bush, its blue faded by sun and rain. The faint, lingering smell of wood smoke from a distant hearth. These signs do not bring a feeling of intrusion, but of connection. A quiet reminder that other journeys are being made, other lives are being lived just beyond the curve from the hill. I feel no urge to rush towards them, nor to shy away. I'm simply on a parallel course, a fellow traveler. The lighthouse taught me about solitude, but not isolation. It showed me how to be a single, steady point of light, but also that every light is part of a larger constellation, seen or unseen. My own quiet rhythm, the one I found in the spiraling stairs and the endless horizon, feels steady inside me. It is a slow, deep pulse, like a drumbeat that the rustling leaves and bird song can dance around without ever disrupting. By late afternoon, I see the first true sign of a settlement, not just a curl of smoke, but a collection of them, rising like gentle questions into the pale blue sky. The track becomes a proper road, gobbled in places, and soon the lowing of cattle reaches me, followed by the distant, rhythmic clang of a blacksmith's hammer. Each sound is a thread, and together they weave a tapestry of a town going about its evening chores. I crest a small hill, and there it is, nestled in a shallow valley, a village not large, with slate roofs gleaming dully in the slanted light, and a thin river snaking through it like a silver thread. It is beautiful. It is noisy. It is everything the lighthouse was not, and I feel no fear. I walk down the slope, my pace unchanged. The first person I pass is a young boy, chasing a hoop with a stick, his face a perfect picture of concentration and joy. He does not notice me. There an old woman, sitting on a bench outside her cottage, her hands busy with mending, her eyes looking far away. She gives me a slow, courteous nod, which I return. The air is thick with the smells of baking bread and roasting meat and damp wool. Voices murmur from open doorways. It is a current, this life, a river of sound and scent and movement. I let it flow around me. I do not fight it. I find that the silence I carry is not a fragile, empty vessel that can be shattered by noise. It is more like the deep, unmoving water at the bottom of a well. The surface can be stirred by a dropped stone, but the depths remain still and calm. I find an inn called the Sheltered Anchor. The sign, a carving of a withered anchor wrapped in kelp, makes me smile. It feels like a gentle welcome from the world I just left. Inside, the air is warm and smells of ale and beeswax. A few men sit at a heavy wooden table, their conversation a low rumble. The innkeeper, a woman with kind eyes and flour on her apron, looks up as I enter. "A room for the night?" she asks, her voice gentle. "Yes, please," I say. My own voice sounds strange to me, unused. "Just one night?" "I'm not sure yet," I answer, and the honesty of it feels good. "I'm just on my way." She nods, as if this is the most natural answer in the world. She hands me a heavy iron key, and I thank her. The simple transaction, the brief, unburdened human connection, feels like a balm. My room is small and simple, with a low ceiling and a single window overlooking the main street. Below, the village is settling into evening. Lanterns are being lit, casting pools of trembling orange light onto the cobblestones. The blacksmith's hammer is silent now. The sound is replaced by a strain of music from a fiddle somewhere, and the laughter of children being called home. I do not feel like an observer watching a foreign world. I feel the steady, constant light inside me, quiet, reliable rhythm. It is the lighthouse, here with me in this small room, miles from the sea. It is not a memory, it is a part of my own architecture now. I look out at the small lights of the village, each a tiny beacon in a window, each a sign of a life, a story, a quiet harbor. They are not as grand as the sweeping beam I once tended, but they are a constellation all the same, and I am one of them now, a small, steady light, ready for the darkness and ready for the dawn.